dropping knowledge on Grambo grows. Talking about plants and how they go. Let's go. From seeds to the cure, we always smoke pure. Nothing but good vibes up in here. We blaze the ganja, keep it fire. Grambo grows, burning desire. Learn about cultivation, step by step. You can rock out the negativity. Cannabis vibes up in here. Grambo grows, I'm up in here.
Hello, my friends. Nothing but good vibes up in here. Welcome to Grambo Grows. You know what this is. This is the late night smoke, your last chance of the week to get in on all that cannabis community, cannabis growing, cannabis smoking, cannabis, all things canna related. I am Josh Grambo. I am your host for the evening. It's been a crazy week. Everything's been up, down, left, and sideways. I had a really crazy moment just not but a few moments ago. I went to order something on the internet. I saw this thing. I've wanted this thing forever. It's like this illusion, and it like pops out, and then it's got like art in it, and it's like a cone. But then when you look at it, it like tricks your eyes. So it doesn't look like it's coming out. It looks like it's going in, and it's like it like has parallax in it and stuff. It's the coolest thing. And I've always wanted one. I finally found a link. Who knows? Maybe I'll get ripped off. Hope not, but it'd be pretty cool if it actually shows up. But as I'm going to type it in, I lost a debit card a couple weeks ago, lost my wallet, and then the bank sends it, and they're like, "Oh, it's been returned." And I was like, "Why would it be returned?" And I'm confused, and I reorder it, and it's been taking forever. And then I go to order this thing, and I like triple check all my information because I was like, if this is like some sort of like shady website, I don't want to. And so I had a realization of how big of a stoner I am. It's literally like, it's all fun and games when like, you do one thing, I'm such a stoner, I forget things. I realized I've lived at this place. You guys know, I moved into my new apartment like, a year ago. I've been living here for almost an entire year. I just realized today, I don't know my own address. What is, what am I doing with my life? I don't know my own address. I was typing in my address wrong the whole time I lived here. I was certain I knew my zip code, certain. And then it would always autocorrect it and be like, "Do you mean this?" And I go, "No, I don't mean that. What are you doing? Stop saying, I know where I live." I don't. I'm too high. What? What? I'm literally a guest. This was like 5 minutes before the show. I was on Instagram. I saw the thing. I was like, I got to do it. And I was like, all right, I'm going to Google my apartment's address. I'm sure. Yeah, I'm wrong. I don't know my own address. I've been living here a year. The good, bad, and the ugly of cannabis, my friends. I always love the part in Half Baked where it's like they're all like confused, and it's like, "We're sorry, marijuana affects the memory." And I go, yeah, I'm in there. And I'd like, here's the thing. I'm trying to blame it on weed, but I'm just an idiot. Yeah, people always ask, like, how do you do all this stuff? How do you animate and do comedy and do this and that? And I go, because I am mentally lacking in all other areas. All of my cognitive power goes into like this little laser beam of content and music and animation and all the fun stuff. And then I do nothing. I know nothing. So I'm just I'm coming to terms with it as I've been sitting here with you guys. You think you know who you are, and then and I got a pimple. Look at that. But yeah, I'm 42. Why am I getting zits? I got another one right here. I thought it was like mosquito bites or bug bites or something. No, I got 2 zits. What's going on in my life? I'm degrading. I'm falling apart. Everything's falling apart except for the Cannabis family on YouTube. And when I see you guys over there on Spotify, I've been updating the Spotify for the Grambo Grows channel. Been getting on it. Some people have been asking about it. I'm always surprised. People actually listen. All right, I'll get it over there. So it's been an amazing experience to hang out with you guys. I was just hanging out with my guest tonight, and we were talking about, how important you guys are legitimately, whether it's ICANN THC, whether it's the stash guys, whether it's the Dude Grows boys, whether it's the Jug Dealers. Every time I talk with everybody, it's like literally it's the cannabis community for real, is like the unseen hero. Like it means nothing without you guys. It's always like doing stand up. Doing stand up without an audience is not stand up. Doing cannabis content without you guys enjoying it and upping your grow game. And so tonight was I had a busy weekend. I had 2 dates with 2 different girls this weekend, as you want to do. Single daddy, trying to be a daddy out there. And date one went my dates never go horrible. I always tell you I have a horrible date, and they never go horrible. They just go nowhere, and that's horrible to me. I can't have that. And then so Friday date didn't go all that way. Saturday date, everything is peachy clean. I'm tired. Maybe that's why I'm so stupid. Maybe I need some electrolytes. It's been crazy. So it was it re-energized me. I got all my energy back, guys. The last few episodes, I definitely was I was sick. I kept having like weird things pop up, but I'm back, baby, recharged. Weedsconsin, she did not. No, you guys got to subscribe to the GRAMBO, get those post shows on there. Once again, right up in the top corner up there, or maybe it's like right down here, depending on what device you are watching on. You can see. You can come on into the GRAMBO. If you want to join, we do a post show after this, and there's going to be lots of. I keep saying there's going to be lots of new content, but here's the thing: I hooked up with hooked up is the wrong word. After the dating conversation, hooked up isn't the right. I reacquainted with an old comedian buddy of mine, and he's a cameraman. He's an old skateboarding camera operator, and so he's got skills. He shot a lot of my short films, and so I hit him up, and I was like, "Where are you living these days?" He lives across the street. He lives I open up my window. It's like, dude, I can see your apartment from here. And so I told him, I was like, "Hey, if I got a little bit of money coming in through my channel members, and if I can I throw you some money, and every Friday we can start recording some content." He's like, "Of course, I'm 100% in." So Corey Stevens, comedian Corey Stevens, find him on Instagram. Let him know that you're excited to have him on board. I'm slowly building the team. I got Mogros coming in. She's been helping out with like tax stuff and preparations and like getting me all set up with all the stuff that I have to do to actually make this work. And I got in contact with the cameraman. Boys and girls, Can Fam, we are on the way. It's a very exciting weekend in all things GRAMBO. So I keep saying there's going to be the post show pretty much always happens, and all that other content that I've been talking about, that's coming out really, really soon. So what we're doing tonight is we're doing a questions episode. It was very, very busy. I got to hang out with ICANN THC, and I did an episode of Talking Loud. I had the multiple dates. I had my baby girl. There's a street fair outside my house. It was absolute chaos in every which way, and I'm very stoked to be here with you guys. So I wasn't able to get a proper guest booked, but I got something better. First of all, thank you, Crippled Cannabis Cowboy, throwing in that $10. I appreciate you, my friend. Once again, all the money that comes in from this channel all goes to the account to get this thing going. Like Scotty says, GRAMBO needs a GRAMBO. I am and we're doing it. I got step one. I got a camera guy, so we're gonna get someone to help out with editing and production. That's gonna be one person, not two. I can't afford. I don't got three staff member money. I got 2 staff member money, and that's because of you guys. And tonight it's especially because of you, Crippled Cowboy Cannabis. Crippled Cannabis Cowboy. I'm dyslexic. I don't read well. That's why I don't know my own address. I'm not a strong reader. I'm in the visual arts for a reason. So let's get this turkey started. My guest tonight, he thought he wasn't one of the cool kids. He said to me, he's like, "I'm not one of the cool kids." You son of a bitch, you're one of the coolest kids in the game right now. Ladies and gentlemen, we got Chonky Nugs in the house.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? I was thinking about that, GRAMBO. If I ever start my own show, I'm going to name it Cool Kid Shit. And you're going to be the first guest.
Cool Kid. You got to spell it with a Y. You don't want
Yep.
YouTube coming down on you. But
We'll put a Y and a dollar sign, and we'll fuck up the algorithm.
Cool Kid Cannabis. That's
Cool.
what you got.
It's either going to be that or a Chonky and a can of Alicia's Can of Adventures.
Hey, and shout out to Can Alicia. She's one of the she's out in front of the world, but she's also behind the scenes. She's rocking it up. So shout out to Can Alicia.
Yeah, she does her magic behind the scenes. She does so much work for everybody, and not very many people know it's her behind all those fancy reels and those posts and everything. So shout out Can Alicia. You're amazing. Thank you for everything that you do.
Hells yeah. And for those of you that aren't familiar with Chonky Nugs, he's a awesome cannabis community guy, rose up the ranks, just helping out, offering services, an amazing grower and an amazing outdoor grower, a skill that not all of us have. So we'll definitely be talking about outdoor a little bit, and we'll be talking about indo, outdoor, and all the different kinds of dough, smoking dough.
Yes, sir. And if you guys are putting questions in the chat, please make sure and at Chonky Nugs me so I can see those and put those questions on the screen and make sure we get to them. So
yes,
anytime
thank you
you're
for
ready,
pointing
my
that
friend.
out. We took some questions from Instagram, and my YouTube Studio app wasn't quite working. So if you guys were nice enough to drop questions in the YouTube Studio app, it's not opening for me right now. It's everything YouTube. It's a constant thing. Last week's episode with Taking Tops got age restricted, buried, and shadow banned, and they gave me a code. They don't usually give you a code where they tell you what the offending matter was. And so I go to the code. 601 was the offense, and I go, and he and I were talking about going to an Italian restaurant, Carmine's on Penn over in Denver. And I'm like, and it's like, oh, well, this is a slam dunk. I'm going to appeal this and I'm going to win because like 100%, there's a time code. We're talking about Italian restaurants. That's not against TOS. And I lost the appeal. I don't know what's YouTube's going on right now. It's we're in the purge, y'all. So, put your helmet on.
I'm glad to see that the Dude Bros came back. I missed it in the YouTube. It's fun in the app and in the website. But just, I don't know, the community on YouTube it's just something there that you don't get anywhere else.
Yeah, we actually Dude Grows abandoned YouTube for a week. For 1 week, we're like, nope, all right, it's over. Like YouTube's made it clear. Scott went one Saturday without the crew, and he literally was like, all right, team meeting. And I was like, yeah, dude, we can't let him. It's I keep equating YouTube to like a jalopy car. As long as this son of a bitch runs for like a year, fuck it, man. But if it breaks down like every other week, well, then we're gonna have a problem then. Right. But as long as we get a year out of each one of these channels, screw it, baby.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing now. I'm building my Chonky Nugs 2.0, so that way when Chonky Nugs goes away, it's going to be hopefully rather seamless. So when I got zapped, I don't know, back in June, I want to say. Luckily, it was only a 24-hour zap this time. So during that time, instead of bitching about it and screenshotting it, and I took your advice: do not screenshot and put it back up on Instagram. That's gonna fuck you even harder. So
it is.
I just started. I instead of doing all that, I just started building. I did a 2.0, and I'm starting to rebuild my page. And again, I'm gonna make another one. So if your Instagram is tied to Facebook, it's your email address. Anything tied to your email address, it's going to get zapped, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, anything Meta is gone. So
yeah, it's hard times right now. It's definitely one of those things. And the behind the scenes, I've been working on the new platform. I got a name in mind. Nothing's finalized. We're not going with Crumble. Everyone's like going, I don't think I can get crumble.com anyway. That's already a thing. I don't got $10,000 for a URL. We try to get jugdealers.com, and the Jug Dealers are jugdealers.net. And we try to get jugdealers.com, and they wanted $20,000 for jugdealers.com. We're like, are you insane? No, that's not happening. GRAMBO.com is like $15,000-$20,000. I don't know what's going on out there.
But you know what? You got Grambo.org. You got the Gramboard.
I do. I got Grambo.net. I got Grambo.org. And that will be, thank you for reminding me about that. I always forget that I got that. That's going to be the home of the Gramborg as we transition. I'm never transitioning away from YouTube. I love YouTube. It's all about the thing. I'm grambling. Every time I start rambling, I'm gonna call it grambling. Like, oh, I'm just grambling. Let me get out of here. Let me stop telling you about all the women I'm trying to have fornication with. I apologize. Hell yeah,
Yes,
buddy.
sir.
So yeah, let's get into it, Chonky. You wanted to find our first question and hope I know some answers.
I hope I know some answers too. We got some good questions here. Starting
Yeah.
off, I haven't seen Joof, but Joof the Beanstalk. How should you source your cultivars?
How should you source your cultivars? Well, that's you should source them. Well, first of all, you need to find them from reputable people that will actually send them to you, are going to be good with the money transfer and everything. That's number one. I've in the past I've stuck up for certain clone people. And sometimes people have malcontent in their heart, and sometimes life circumstances. A friend of mine that does clones, he had taken some orders, and then his adult son uh died, and very unexpectedly, and so he went from like, yeah, full businessman, let's do this, to like all of a sudden, his plants might not be so healthy, he might not be able to send out cuts. And then so whether or not, there's bad actors, or there's just life circumstances come in there, just make sure that you can actually trust the person. Even if I tell you you can trust them, still you gotta take your own responsibility. After making sure, we come from the old days and the black market days. You have to order things from Amsterdam and go through shell companies and all this sort of nonsense, send them a money order, all sorts of just ridiculous stuff. So once you can trust someone and they're verified out there, and the bigger the business, the better you are off doing that, is sourcing for your grow room. We always talk about the phenotypic expression, and it's one of those things. Like if you're trying to grow outdoors, you're going to want to find things that aren't Kush Valley indicas that are squat and all dense and everything. You're going to want some sort of nice, stretchy sativa, something equatorial that's got the bud structure to kind of let air through and everything, that's designed to kind of deal with the environmental stressors. If you can find things that have been bred in your area, that's a great way to do. So you definitely, first of all, you want to pick strains that you like, start with that, and then from there you want to figure out pretty much what is going to work for your environment. What they call it Lee Biggs law of the minimum. You can think of it as a barrel with like 20 slats in the barrel, and then if you push down one of the slats, all the water will pour out, and the water will go to the level of wherever the lowest part of the barrel is. That's where your water level is. So if your CO2 isn't lacking, if you've got if you're not sealed, if it's very, very hot or very, very cold, these sort of things are all going to tell you what you want to do. Cold is better than hot in general, for most strains. So you definitely, it'll just slow it down. Cold will slow down the metabolism of all your plants, but the heat, some things can do very, very well in the heat. Once again, those equatorial strains versus those mountainous strains. The mountainous strains, they do good under UV, but they don't really love high humidity and high heat. So those are the things that you want to find. Make sure that they're reputable. Make sure that they have the flavors that you're interested, and make sure that they have the expressions that are going to, maybe expressions isn't the right word, but the genetics that are going to be stable in sort of your thing. How do you choose genetics for outdoor? Do you put any sort of oh, this grower grew it out here with me, you're up there in the northeast over there? How do you choose outdoor?
This year I was chosen by Mr. Westport, who gave me all the beans for the outdoor. So I was testing the Miss Cool Ice for him. So that was a second test. That was an outdoor test. I'm doing an outdoor test of the No Joke, and it's also the second version of the No Joke. It's still the same mom, same dad, just a different run. So those are all being tested. The Chud, which I'm super, super stoked for. It's an Afghan crossed with Westport grape juice, so it smells like earthy grape hash. So,
All right.
but in general, what I would do is I like to go to a breeder who I can talk to. Rasta Jeff, Boneyard DDA, Mr. Toad, Chad himself. There's so many breeders out there that you can talk to. You can say, hey, this is where I'm at. What do you recommend of your line for me? These are my flavors. These are my conditions. Like Mr. Toad, he is on YouTube just about every single night doing a live, so you can go in and ask his questions. And then again, like you said, we have Rebel Growin', who is he is Emerald Triangle native, but he moved to Vermont, so he is sourcing genetics not just for Vermont, but they're being bred and selected in Vermont. So I might be starting to run some of his gear too.
Nice. Yes. Good tip. I always forget, these are the things like I come from, my brain just comes from like the black market days. I haven't fully adjusted to the idea, like get on Discord, talk to other growers, talk to the actual breeder. That's a great way to choose your cultivars. And shout out to Juve for the Guava Gator, easily one of my favorite strains to ever come into existence. I say it's one of the most unique things ever. Even amongst the unique things out there, they'll still smell like, OG can kind of smell like diesel, can kind of smell like, or GMO can kind of smell like diesel, can kind of smell like OG. The Guava Gator, man, it don't smell like guava. I don't know what the gator is in it, but it is unique and I love it. So shout out to you, Juve.
Yeah, I haven't had the Guava Gator straight up. I have the cherry and guava emergency. So I got the Guava Gator, that little emergency.
And that's from our friends over at Extract Cellar. Hell yeah.
Camera always gets me.
I just talked to Kyle. It was today, last night. It's all the days are getting a little bit funky over here. Yo, Can in the house. What up, fam? Good to see you. Yeah, Kyle, he was out, speaking of stoner things, he went out for a midnight hike out at his property. He lives up in the southwest mountains of Colorado. And I was like, hey, we're going to get together. We're going to talk business. We're going to figure out some Extract Cellar business. And I was like, hey, we hanging out tonight? And he goes, bro, I fell off a cliff tonight. My face is all effed up. So he's okay. He's doing all right. He legit fell off a little cliff, busted up his whole shit. So go over to extractcellar.com, get on the mailing list. It's about to launch, people. We're doing this. We are all about it. And then speaking of cannabis content, we are doing something. Kyle is my friend Michelle is a photographer. Michelle Mariposa. She was like, anything I should know about him? And I was like, he's a perfectionist, so be careful. And so he and I are going to make something together for Extract Cellar, and it's going to be pretty epic. I like where his head's at, and he's gonna push me to do some crazy stuff. So go to Kyle.
Yeah, I've gotten some little insights of what you guys have up your sleeves. I got a little glimpse of the website, so things are looking nice. I won't say a date. I know the date I have been told is very soon.
It is very soon.
I haven't been told it's solid, so I'm not going to repeat the date.
Well, it was going to be solid, and then homie fell off a cliff. So we're all going through it out there. Just know that behind these smiling faces that you guys see on these cameras, there is broken hearts and broken bones and all sorts of stuff. So definitely give love to all the people that are doing content creation out there, because you don't know what they're going through, and all of us are going through something, and Kyle is going through falling off a cliff.
I see your mailman Grow has just put a post, or just made a comment saying Jufe's a good dude. Well, I want to say your mailman Grows is a good dude.
Yeah.
Mailman, the parfait and the cherry paloma that are in my garden right now showed up on my doorstep from your friendly neighborhood mailman. So thank you, mailman.
He sent me a little care package of some living organisms, some green girls were in a thing, but it was in an AC Infinity box. And I just thought maybe the dude sent me like an AC, like, oh, someone must have sent me something from AC Infinity. I'm in no hurry to open it. So I left it for like a month unopened. Oh, no. And I was like, oh, there's that fan upstairs. It's getting hot. I should go grab that fan. I opened the box, and there is two of the deadest clones in the history of the world. And I was like, oh, God damn it. He sent me the thing. Nothing but good vibes up in here. By the way, nothing but good vibes up in here. Shirts available at GRAMBO.shop. I wore it out in Hawaii, and bro, everywhere I went, people were exploding looking at that shirt. It's all written in smoke. It's like or nothing but good vibes up in here, and like I'd walk up to girls, and that would be they'd be nothing but good vibes. I'd be like, goddamn right, high five,
Nice.
cha.
Yeah,
No,
I'm not sure.
GRAMBO.shop.
I saw Cannabis Vibe earlier. He said he was going to be here. I haven't seen him in the chat yet, but in case I missed you, cheers, Cannabis Vibe.
Yes, speaking of going through it, he's always going through it, that poor son of a bitch. He's always got stuff going on, and he is the artist of my theme song, the artist of the Jug Dealers theme song. So if you guys like that, go follow Cannabis Vibe Studios on Instagram. Give him some love. There he is, you son of a bitch.
There he is.
Hell yeah. All right, so what do you got up next here for us?
All right. My gal, Alicia, posted up a question. What are some of the biggest myths you have uncovered that you find untrue?
Myths that I've uncovered that I find untrue. Well, God, that's such a deep question. I would say that your inputs aren't as important as you would think. The thing that really shocked me in the last year is I did a total show about it. Your plant is made of 45% carbon and 45% hydrogen. And so, the fact that it's like almost half carbon, we don't have a carbon input, right? And so here I am thinking like, oh, this plant food, Jaron used to always say like plant food isn't plant, like Gabe would say it too. Plant food isn't food. It's like vitamins. It's the way that like how we don't require vitamin C to stay alive, but we'll get scurvy and all sorts of like weird things. Like you can live, you'll be anemic and weird and eventually kind of like petter out. But yeah, your plant's made of the environment. It's actually made of the CO2. You got the CO2, two C's, one O on there, and that's how plants produce nitrogen. They start to fix the carbon out of there. A photon knocks it apart. It releases the oxygen. It absorbs the carbon, and so yeah, your inputs aren't as important as you think you are. The thing that really makes it important is like the quality of how it's sourced. You don't want things with like heavy metals or any sort of BS, but a lot of the top nutrient companies have that. There's the 17 essential elements, and most all your basic nutrients will have that. And so what it really is about is all the things that surround that. Like what makes New Millennium, they're one of the more elite sort of nutrient companies out there. And so they'll tell you everything's got all the essential plant elements in there. What makes New Millennium special is things like they'll have like colloidal clay. If you're ranking things like from like the most solid to the least solid, I would have thought that like I would have like ranked a whole bunch of like silt and like things like that. I thought they were very thin. I didn't know that clays were the thinnest things. Yes, Vibe is a hardcore New Millennium user. Terpicana Kyle Terps, as I want him to be called, over at Extract Seller, he's using the New Millennium. And so it really is about like what is the synergy of it. So it really doesn't matter. Like you can use just like bare bones salts. You can get just crappy salts. And if you put the right amendments in there, if you have a lot of fulvic acids and things to chelate these sort of things, it's a lot. But so I grew with psycho nutrients back in the day. You get the big giant kit and everything, and there wasn't really anything fully special about it. And I other than it gave you amino acids. Amino acids are very important because they lower the activation energy. These aminos and these enzymes, they lower the activation energy for these things to happen. We talked on Jug Dealers about how some processes without these enzymes can take up to like 100,000 years for them to happen naturally in a controlled environment where you'd be testing these sort of things. But with the right enzymes, they happen in milliseconds, from hundreds of thousands of years to milliseconds. That's how important these sort of like ancillary things are. So you want to make sure you got fulvics in there, humix and fulvics, kind of the same thing. They're both a fraction of the same sort of thing. And then the aminos, and then that's why, like I said, with the new millennium, it's important. You got the colloidal clays in there. It helps with the CEC. It's all ions and everything inside of these nutrients. And so when in organic growing, the bacterias and the microbes, they'll eat up this stuff. I always thought they excreted bioavailable nutrients. Turns out they don't excrete it. It's actually in their bodies, and they pass away very rapidly. They duplicate and pass away very very quickly. So they actually uptake all of those nutrients, and then when they die, their kind of carcass dissolves into more of a bioavailable nutrient. And so it's all the same. Once you get past that ionic sort of stage that the plants go through, it all becomes the thing. Nitrogen, nitrogen. And so that's what I would say. Your plant is not made. I would have thought NPK. What's a plant made of? I would have been like, nitrogen, potassium, and phosphorus. No, it's nitrogen's 1.5% or something like that of the plant. It's literally almost nothing. And so I say that's one of the biggest myths that I have encountered in my life, that your inputs aren't as important as the synergy of the inputs. You can use any crappy salt if you like. That's why jug dealers always say sauce your base. They have that saying there, because whether you want to use your base or their base, they don't care. If you use GH, great, but throw some ruby fulvic in there. Get yourself some lightning star. Get yourself some decision. Throw that winter frost on at the end. Get that phenotypic expression. Sir Huntslot said, get that silica. And once again, Jug Dealers has that great silica, and I'll throw it out there for you guys right now for my audience. You can go over to jugdealers.shop and you can get yourself any size silicium for 20% off SI20 at checkout. That's going to get you 20% off, fam. So go over to jugdealers.shop. Tell them Grambo sent you and get that fucking 20% off your silica. Yeah, your mailman knows that. PK appetite, man. That's it's not a bloom booster. So what's interesting is you get so much non-available phosphorus and potassium in your soil, and it's in there, but your plant isn't readily uptaking it. And so that PK appetite, it's not a bloom booster, but it acts like a bloom booster because it actually grabs that stuff, dissolves it down, and makes it a little bit more bioavailable. I'm still learning about the Jug Dealers. All the new millennium stuff is so complicated. I've been working with them for a year and a half. I'm still just kind of wrapping my head around. I met the formulator. He made me feel like an ape. He was so smart. I feel like a bright kid sometimes. Talking to this guy, I was like, I want to throw feces at this guy. I don't know what you're talking about. You're too smart. Poo.
Yeah, so I can't say I'm gonna coin a new term. I'm gonna go living Sanganic.
Ooh.
The boys, Gabe, Jaron, everybody at 5'8", hook Chonky up hardcore. I've got so much new mill stuff. One of those was the Silica Bloom, which I am using. And and they sent me some EcoWorks. I had some thrips, so I did a 1-2 shot. I used Lost Coast Plant Therapy every week. It's just like my weekly thing. Saw some thrips. I hit it with 1 dose of Lost Coast Plant Therapy with some ISO in it, and then I got a leaf miner, so I hit that with some EcoWorks, and that EcoWorks is a fungicide too. So getting rid of my pest and hopefully not having any bud rot, leaf septoria, or any kind of fungus coming through my plants this year.
Hells yeah, man. Yeah, the Lost Coast with the IPM trio. They got the EcoWorks, the Multi, and the Russet. Yep. I love that stuff. And so I just got Scotty some of the trio for his he was dealing with some stuff. I don't know how public. I can't remember if he brought up. I'm pretty sure he did. Yeah. He had root aphids.
Yeah, he was talking about it yesterday.
Yeah. So yes. I it's always when you're in the back rooms, you never know what's public knowledge and what's not. And so yes, and so I hooked him up with some of that multi IPM or multi Russet and the EcoWorks. Good stuff.
Yeah, the Jug Dealers seriously hooked it up. I got all three. I got the triple. I got that.
Nice. Adam got his jug club. I'm rolling it out, people.
Nice.
I had to figure out how to code this thing from the ground up, man. First of all, we got banned from Stripe. More Cannabis shadow ban. Not shadow. That wasn't a shadow ban. They straight up. There's only 3 payment processors in the world, and we got banned from one of them immediately. And so it's been hard. But Jug Club, the first 56 of you, the ironclad 56, the pre-sale guys. Thank you, all of those guys. You're in there too, Chunk. You got some Thunderbloom.
I did. I got a package. Tracy asked me, she's like, oh, did you order anything? I didn't order anything. She's like, you ordered something. She gets kind of pissy with everything that I ordered. I'm like, I swear I didn't order a thing. I opened a package and there's some Thunderbloom, there's the cocoa bricks, there's some plugs, there's some Clonex. Was there Clonex? I think there was some Clonex in there.
There's Clonex, yeah.
Yeah,
we're doing a deal with Clonex.
Between the sample pack and the Jug Club pack, Chunky is set for a complete indoor new mill run.
Good.
I can't wait.
I love to hear it. Even though I work with those guys, like whether I worked with them or not, they're damn good dudes. They're real dudes. And hit them up. Go over to jugdealers.net and find where they're going to be. There's the bookings page. As Chunky can attest to, they will hang out. Like they will. Are not divas. They will come to your house.
Yeah, I was shocked. I went to that event thinking I'm going to say, wave like from across the room. Hey, nice to meet you. See you later. I went upstairs in the VIP room. They were having dinner. We smoked a whole bunch of hash out of an amazing Scotty Mickle pipe, and I got some Jaren GMO. And I mean, I hung out with him for all night, like 6 hours. Yes. It was just a party. It was so fun.
Those boys know how to have fun.
They do. Yeah. And you know what? I made friends at that too. Like I still, if I send Gabe or Jaren either a message, they come right back at me with a message. So if you guys see them at the bookings and you want to meet them, don't be shy. Go right up. I mean, I was like, hey, you're Jaren, right? He's like, yeah, come on up. So the warmest welcome that I've ever had in my own home state.
Hells yeah. No, I always say, people always say, oh, I saw you, but I didn't want to bother you. Come bother me. The reason I do this is to connect with you people. And you know who I want to connect with a lot right now is Soylent Green, dropping a gift sub, holding it down, expanding the GramBoard. Thank you, Soylent Green. I remember this is multiple gift subs that he has dropped. I appreciate you, Soylent Green. And whoever the new member is, welcome to the GramBoard. What do we got next, Chunky Nugs?
It was Cano Alicia that received that membership. So congrats, Cano Alicia.
Hey, Cano Alicia. You get to hear stories about me. Moving on.
The stories are pretty epic in the after party. You call it the after show. I call it the after parties. It's always a party.
It's the after party. Goddamn.
It really is.
Anyone that's joining the after party, put the poo emojis in chat. Let's go, Chunky.
Yeah, I just wanted to make a quick comment. I saw somebody. I'm sorry, I didn't see who it was, but somebody made a comment of coconut water. I use coconut water. I use Willis oil. They have freeze-dried coconut water, and I use that every week with my recharge. Every week,
the microbes.
Yep. The recharge with the microbes and the coconut water too. It's baby coconut where there's microbes and enzymes from the baby coconut that is great for. So I'm just laughing at all the poop emojis.
Look, I am a single stand-up comedian living in the big city alone. I get into you're gonna right up there with the poo stuff. Like I mentioned the girl from last night. You guys won't believe what I've gotten myself into. You won't believe it. I don't believe it. I'm in a weird scenario, Chunky Nug. Stay tuned for the after party. I'm gonna talk
I'll have to catch that one.
All right. What's the next question? What do we got?
Our boy Smoke a Lot of Potamus. I think I've seen him in here tonight. He hit us with a trifecta. I'll give you all at once, and then if you need, I'll read them back to you. And actually, Smoke a Lot of Potamus. It was great to actually see you on screen last night. Great to meet you. If you had to give one piece of advice to a new grower, what would it be? What do you think is the most important unseen factor in great flower? And what's the hardest lesson you've learned from growing?
All right. I have too hard of ADD. So read me back the first one and we'll go one at a time.
First one, if you had to give one piece of advice to a new grower, what would it be?
Environment. It is all about environment. If you can control your environment, you can control almost everything in your garden. I can't recommend sealed enough. It is a thing that I took very seriously. I would share genetics with my friends, my close growing friends. We would all take cuts together. I didn't have the room to store moms, so literally we would go in. We had all the same moms. We all had the same genetics, and my weed was always so much better. And it wasn't because they used Botanicare and I used psychonutrients. It's because they grew in a dingy, unsealed basement with no temperature control, no humidity control, no, their CO2 game was off. And mine was dolphin's ass type, man. Like I told a story about how I flooded my grow room like 4 times in my life. And yeah, it was watertight, baby. It'd fill up like a bathtub. You could literally do the backstroke in there. And so even though I was horrified that my grow room flooded, I did say like, some bitch, that's a tight ass grow room right there. And so environment is the main thing that you're going to do. If you're just growing in a tent, I'd say figure out how to have some variation of a lung room. If you can have a room that you can condition and somehow get that air in there, you want to make sure that your humidity isn't too high, too low, the temperature not too high, too low. You want to go into the world of VPD. And on that subject, I'd say don't worry about, if you're a new grower, don't worry about the high end stuff. I was that guy from day one. I wanted like, like the systemic acquired resistance, all of the VPD, anything with an acronym. I'd say don't fully acronym or initialism. If it spells a word, it's an acronym. If it doesn't, it's an initialism. And so any of that sort of stuff, don't pay attention to it. Just make sure that your humidity's dialed in to where you want it. Your temperature's dialed in where you want it. You want good airflow. Airflow is king in this world. You want the leaves will get like static boundary layers around them. They get these little microclimates. And so even though you have CO2 and you've got good air, like in the room, right around the plant, think of it like an atmosphere on a planet, how a planet will get an atmosphere on it. Your plant kind of has an atmosphere. There's a static micro boundary. And so you want lots of nice airflow. So that way it breaks apart, mixes up all that air, nothing gets static in there. And so that's my advice for a new grower. Environment first.
And don't overwhelm yourself right out of the gate. Don't go buy a 5x5 and $3,000 worth of equipment. Get your craft down first. Start with maybe a 2x4 or a 3x3, and then start going up. I did the same thing. I started out with a grow. It's called a stealth box. It was like a 1.5 by 1.5 by like 3. So I got that nailed down, and then I did the big jump to the 5x5. So now I'm running a 5x5 and 2 4x4s, and now I have a 2x2 as well. So
yeah, I jumped from taking care of a 2x2 tent to taking care of 2 like 300 square foot grow rooms, and it was a disaster. Didn't go great. We got all sorts of problems. We ended up getting spider mites occasionally. It'd always end up with PM. There was just infinite problems. But I cut my teeth doing that, learned what not to do. And then when I built my own grow room, I actually had 3 years experience, and that grow room churned me out some quality cannabis on the mass. And so good advice there, Chonky. What was part 2 on there?
Number 2, what do you think is the most important unseen factor in great flower? What do you think is the most important unseen factor in great flower?
Unseen factor in great flower. Well, you start with great genetics. You got your environment dialed in. I'd say that's 90% of it. Honestly, if you select good genetics and you have a good environment, it's almost impossible to really F it up. I would say this one's pretty short. I don't know if I'm going to go off on a diatribe on this one. I think it's it's right there.
Yep. So, and the last one is, what is the hardest lesson you've learned from growing? I'm just going to say it's not a lesson I've learned. It's just something I know about myself. I am not a patient person whatsoever. So you've got to learn to be patient. I've been looking at my King's juice every single day for a week and a half saying, you know what? I'm going to pull it tomorrow. I'm going to pull it tomorrow. And she's not ready. She's telling me she's not ready. So you got to be patient and read the plants.
I'm going to steal right here. I think Variant and your mailman grow. Where you go? Mailman also said the same thing. We're going dry and cure Well, the question is, what's the hardest lesson? That you can run a 20-mile race and you will shit the bed at mile 19 and a half. You will spend 2 months growing this stuff. You'll source the best genetics. You'll have all the best environment. And then you go to dry it and you either let it go too long or too short. And you either end up with kind of a bud that can go moldy. I got a question just a couple weeks ago. He's like, hey, all my bud always goes moldy. I can't store it forever. And I was like, see, you've got your dry and cure is messed up. You're drying the outside of your bud while the inside of your bud is still moist. And now you're jarring it up. You think it's nice and dry, but as it starts to equalize, it's way wetter than you think it is, and it's starting to mold. And conversely, that's how you'll end up with the hay. If you go too fast, it takes 100 hours for chlorophyll to break down. So we're talking bare minimum, 100 hours. What is that? That's about 4.5, 5 days. And so if you, 4.25 days, somewhere in there. So if you aren't drying for at least 4 days, you're doing it wrong. I think 6, 7, 10 is what I would always do. I was a businessman. I had things to do, but I would never let it come down longer than 4 days. So the dry is the dry, and then the cure is kind of the art. Cure is the last thing I think most growers actually understand. How do you weaponize the anaerobic bacteria, or the aerobic bacteria rather, that is in anaerobic? You're gonna smell. That's the dead smell. That's the stuff. I dare you to take some recharge and jar it up for a couple days. Jar it up for a couple days, then open it and smell it. It smells like death. And so that's your anaerobic stuff. Your aerobic stuff, that's in there. That's chewing up that chlorophyll. It's in there. That's why you got to burp your jars. You're going to kill your bacteria that's in there doing the work for you. And so, learn how to dry. Dry and cure gets lumped together. They're two completely different states. You can have great uncured weed. If you dry properly, you can have great weed. And but if it's not dried properly, all the cure in the world ain't going to do nothing for you. So I would say, dry and cure is well, how did he phrase it? I have it there. The hardest lesson, because once you have hay weed, you grew this dank bud. It smells so good on the plant. You're trimming it. It smells amazing. I was a wet trimmer. I come out of the closet on that.
Controversial.
I came out of the closet when Jaron's got the best weed on earth. When he admitted he wet trims, I was like, hey, I wet trim too.
He had
there is no way to greatness. Greatness is the way.
He had a Chem 91 with him, and we were in this room full of weed. And when he popped that Chem 91, it just took over everything. I can attest,
I know
he's
that
probably got the best weed I've ever had.
Yes. His GMO, the guy's Chem 91. There's all sorts of great stuff. Those guys are the best. I am blessed to have some pretty cool coworkers in this world.
Yes, you do. And that's one of Mailman Gross had a quick comment. He said he messed up more dry cures than he'd like to admit, but now he uses growth bags and a moisture meter, wood moisture meter. That's exactly what I do. 10 to 12%. Try to hit that 11% on that wood moisture meter, and then once that hits, gets it right into a growth bag, and then either that or the freezer.
I gotta get on that. I have not. I still haven't used the grove bags. It's one of the. I'm just an old school jar guy. I've gotten so dialed into my thing, but I believe if there's anything that can push me away from the jars, it is the bags, man. And you don't have to go Grove specifically. They're not a sponsor or anything, so you can find other semi-permeable membrane bags.
Yes, sir.
But they're good.
All right, let's head it on to Trip Real. What is a surefire way to get rid of smell? Carbon filters in combination with anything else? Is there anything that is foolproof?
No. So first of all, once again, sealed environment, that is your best friend. And then, foolproof, yes and no. There is nothing you can add in. You don't want to add, like, there was a time where carbon filters didn't exist, young growers. This is a thing. They are a fairly new invention. We're talking 20 years or so, but 25 years, 30 years. I don't know exactly how many years, but I know Scotty Real, speaking of Trip Real, you should know about Scotty, your brother. Scotty's things. I can't believe we got Trip out there asking questions, but there's times you'd use things like Ozium and all sorts of different stuff. Adam throws out ozone generator. I mean, any of these things are not. That's not what you want to. You don't want to be adding anything. You want to be taking things away. So I'd say you calculate the square footage of your room, the volume of your room, the cubic volume of your room, not the square footage, and oversize your carbon filter. Go double. That's what I did when I moved in with my girlfriend, and we had that 16 liter that I referred to. That was a real nightmare. We stunk up the whole goddamn neighborhood. We had carbon filters up the ass. It was ridiculous. It wasn't sealed. We had holes in the walls. It was ridiculous. And so we stunk up the neighborhood. And she's like, you can build your dream grow room. You can do whatever you want as long as my clothes don't fricking stink when I go to work. And so I sealed my grow room very, very, very well. And I went like 2.5x on my cubic volume. And bro, there was no smell. It legitimately took it away. There was nothing to I had a mini split, I had dehumidification, I had everything on point. So I was scrubbing the air, and then it kept it all inside of that grow room. And so I'd say, yeah, carbon filters is the way. You don't want to be adding anything, in my opinion. You just want to be taking stuff away.
And just to add on real quick to what you were saying is when you're taking your cubic measurement, look on the box or on the manufacturer of your carbon filter. The CFM is cubic feet per minute, and that's how much air can be moved out of your tent per minute. So if you're like you said, you went 2.5 times larger. I went a size larger. I could have got away with a 6-inch. I went with an 8.
Yeah, and like Adam says, Ozo has to be pumped out. Like, once again, you don't want to put anything in. You just want to take out. So I'd say there's nothing that's foolproof, but you can get 90% of the way there.
All right, great advice. All right, we're going to go with Budwin Jones. What is the best influential piece of grow equipment that you use? What's on your bucket list to add?
Well, I'm going to go smaller on this one rather than throwing out. I'd say definitely one of the hacks that really changed my life. You got to groom your plants, and if you have a lot of plants, depending on your plant count, or if you believe in plant counts, whatever your world is in there. I got a mechanic stool. It really changed my whole life. It's adjustable thing. You can go up, you can go down. It's got like a little platform underneath you. So I got scissors, I got plant tape, I got some twine. I got all my little different things that I got in there, and so I don't have to be standing up, wandering around, looking for things. You can wheel yourself over. You can wheel yourself over there. I really it saved a lot on my back, a lot on my knees. Depending on the strain that you're growing, defoliating these things is a real nightmare. So I would say that is one of those best kind of influential pieces of grow equipment that you wouldn't think of. There's lots of people that'll tell you lots of things, but getting yourself a good mechanic stool. As far as what's on my list, I would say that the main thing would probably be a CO2 generation. It's a nightmare to go and get tanks and everything. I'm sick of dealing with regulators. I'm sick of dealing with all the measurements and everything. There's a lot of different opinions on the CO2 burners. They do create a lot of heat, and if you get there's different orifices. I'm not sure which. And if you start to get incomplete burns on there, they'll start to kind of get carbon built up. You'll get incomplete burn. It can create all sorts of problems for you. So there's lots of reasons to not use a CO2 burner. But for my particular situation, I think I would say that my future kind of wish list thing, and it's nowhere in the near. CO2 is very, very cheap in Denver. You can get the Way to Grow used to have $7 refills for the 20-pound tanks, but it's a little bit more expensive these days, but still very convenient. You can get all over town. But if I lived out in the sticks, if I lived in somewhere where I wasn't able to get CO2, it would, I'd say a burner. And you don't need as much CO2 as you think. I don't know. I think there might be a question that we'll address this later, but if not, I want to get into more CO2 as we're wrapping up.
Yep, that's one thing I don't do. I don't think I'm gonna. I don't have a sealed off room. I have, like I said, I've got multiple tents, but until I actually have a sealed room, I'm not gonna go CO2.
Yeah,
I got plenty of CO2 outdoors. Lots of CO2, 2200 ppfd. It's nice.
I was looking through the questions here, and I don't. There wasn't one in the Instagram list that addressed this. I'll just say the CO2 is literally useless depending on your PPFD. This is something that I'm just learning this year. Depending on what your PPFD is, I was explaining to this girl this weekend about like she was like confused on how plant growing. I was like, "What do you want to know about plant growing?" And I say, "What do I say?" I say, "You go from stoner to quantum mechanics in 4 questions. PPFD, what does it stand for? Photosynthetic photon flux density. What? Your photons aren't fluxing, bro?" And so depending on what your PPFD is, if you have a low PPFD, you are literally wasting money. Your plant cannot absorb it. Your the amount of light, it dictates how much CO2 you need. So if you have like a 1200 PPFD, yeah, you need to be rocking that
Yep.
CO2. Another thing about CO2, I was talking with Jeremy from Build a Soil, and I've talked to a couple of people that said sometimes they feel like CO2 is increasing plant mass, not necessarily trichome density and production. Now, that being said, carbon is what makes those secondary metabolites and everything, but more, just jamming a bunch in your room isn't going to really increase those secondary metabolites, but it is going to increase the actual bud mass. And so we're back in the day, that was a great thing. We're trying to grow that bud mass. We're not. We're oil farmers, as Jared always likes to say. And so, more CO2 might not be doing you any good, depending on a whole bunch of factors.
Brings me back to your whole theory of the plant is growing out in the air, not in the soil. You got your CO2, the light, air. It's all outside. It's all the outside environment.
Yeah, your plant is made of the air,
Yes, sir.
not the ground. It's so weird. The ground's just like it's literally a medium for it to hold itself. And Bob Gnarly says, plant janitor shirts available. Jug
I,
Dealers.shop.
was
I
going to say
finally
the
made it.
same one.
I finally
Yep.
made it. I got around to it.
Yeah, Holy Toledo is asking, how about 1,000 ppfd?
Yeah, you're gonna need some CO2 in that scenario. You're running it hot. That's 1,000 is pretty high,
Yep.
But if you check your shit and it's like 600, ambient CO2 is probably fine for you. Ambient can get pretty high.
Yeah, that's another thing with me is my ambient CO2. Like the office that I'm in right now is only 100, not 100 feet, probably like 50 feet away from my grows. So I'm down here in my office. I'm down in my grows all the time. My grows in my basement. And my office is in my basement. So I'm always in here flapping my lips and blowing some hot air out. So I'm sure I've got quite a bit of ambient CO2 for my ladies.
That's real life, man. If you have animals, if you have a big family and that all mixes in and you're not exchanging air out into the world, yeah, you'd be surprised what the ambient CO2 of an indoor environment can be.
Yes, sir. I was thinking about picking up one of those ACI CO2 monitors just to see what it's at. But I'm the kind of person is like, if I'm ignorant to it, I'm not going to stress about it. So if I don't know what my CO2 is and it's bad, I'm not going to stress about it. But if I buy that meter and now I have low CO2, I'm going to stress about it. So I'm kind of caught with that.
And if you want to buy anything from AC Infinity, use coupon code Dude Grows. That's going to save you some money.
Yes, sir. All right. Baking Arizona. Thoughts on the Herm Go Away spray? And also heard of a hormone root drench that can change plant sex.
Yeah, I'm not even going to go too deep into this. I don't know. I've always been I'm not the first to use these sort of like gadgets and gimmicks,
I've never heard of the Herm Go Away spray.
Yeah, there's certain things like I know Optic Foliar has some stuff that will help with that sort of stuff, and like Stoner Dude talks about the colloidal silver. They don't really use colloidal silver anymore. Yeah, is that what it is? The switch from Optic Foliar. And yeah, I know Dinesh. She's a great guy over there, fucking G Money chemist, and like I don't think he's a chemist, but he works with some of the curly green leaf. It's the Optic Foliar, the switch. It's good stuff. I even though they were a sponsor of Dude Grows, I never used it, and nor did I really need to use it. If you're not stressing out your plants, if you have stable genetics, if you're popping bag seed and you've got an uncontrolled environment, then you're maybe look into some of that Optic Foliar sort of stuff. But my hope is that you don't gotta. I don't even think about that sort of stuff.
I mean, the hormone root drench that can change plant sex. I'm thinking that might be like the STS spray, possibly. Is what they're talking about.
I don't know. I was people. when I played hockey and I played guitar, people are always annoyed. I'm not a gear guy. I'm not like a gear nerd. I'm meat and potatoes. I want to know how to like do the slap shot. I want to know how to do heel to toe. I want to know how to do toe drags. From there, whether it's an SKS, Reebok stick, or if I had my hockey stick was this brand called the Chronic, and it weighed 420 grams. And
Nice.
like, so did I give a shit what stick I used? No, but I'm going to buy the Chronic that's 420 grams. It's an awesome green stick. It was amazing. So yeah, I'm not a big gear guy. I'm not a big gadgets and gimmicks guy. So I'm not sure, but yeah, look
Yeah,
into it.
you're polar opposite of me. I'm a shiny new things. Gimme. So yeah, that's me. All
Well,
right.
the world needs both of our type of brains. I need guys like you to tell guys like me what I do actually need.
Yeah, I can tell you a whole bunch of shit that you don't need that's sitting in my drawers or on my shelves right now.
That would be a good topic for a show someday. We'll go reverse rather than harping on what you do need. What don't you need? So we'll save that. I'm tucking that away for a future show.
All right. So Danker Seed is asking, what's each of your current favorite cultivars as of late? Would be cool to see each of you address this for fun content.
Oh man. There's so many. I'm gonna go with the Gabe had on the homies from Sour Family Farms up in New York State, and they had the LMNOZ, and it rocked my socks off. I couldn't believe what was going on with that stuff. It was really, really dank. And now they got the LMNOD coming out. And as a diesel guy, I'm very stoked to get my hands on that. So yeah, I'm a meat and potato guys. I like GMO. I like Chem 4. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it out there. Real Chem 4. It's like a porta potty. It's like a skunk took a shit in a porta potty. I love it.
Yeah. For me, I'm looking forward to running. So Elemental Z, you can get the Elemental D already. I was talking to Rosin Dogs, and those are out, and you can purchase them.
Yeah.
Elemental Z is not coming out for another couple months. But
Ooh,
yeah, I've been bugging Rosin Dogs like, hey, when's it coming out? Hey, when's it coming out?
Hell yeah. I'm so lucky because of Gabe. I get to try all these things. I don't even appreciate how lucky I am. So I'm ignorant. I was like, oh, it's not out yet. Oh shit, I've had it for like 6 months.
Yep. Nope, it's not out yet. Yeah, I know Gabe's got some pretty stellar cuts that he's hiding away from, like Loving in Her Eyes and Sour Family Farms. Like I've heard what he's got. So, but you know what? He's blessing me with a very special cut that's going to be coming after it's out of tissue culture. So,
all right.
And
what about you? What's your hype genetics right now? What are you stoked about?
Other than what I'm running now, I was very blessed to meet Josh D and Ricky Palomino, Ricky's brothers, RBK. They came together and did a special project called Bonded by Buds. It's their two cuts together that made a whole new generation of seeds. I picked up 2 of those, so I'm looking forward to running those. I don't know what the profile is going to be, but it's a classic OG. And then Titan again is releasing some pretty sick genetics. He's got the Ocean Fruit line that came out. So there's Frozen Ocean, there's Ocean 16, there's Ocean Toxin, which is a Ocean Fruit crossed with Chem 4, what I'm looking forward to. I have there's some people in here who have seen my collection of seeds. I have a pretty bad addiction to collecting way more than I need. I'm up over 1,000 right now. So
yeah, I will give a shout out to I got some awesome seeds from ICANN. I got some ICANN genetics just here this week, and I'll shout out to him. Go join the Matt Seed Club over there. He's rocking it up. He's a content creator doing it in public. So yeah, speaking God, the seed bank collection, man. I don't think I could grow all my seeds in my whole lifetime. I would need to like maybe do like one plant. I'd have to do like 20, plants per room for the next 10 years.
Yep, exactly here. I mean, I hope and I pray. I'm not a praying man, but I hope and I pray that seeds are not going back illegal under the new hemp bill ban that they're putting out. But I hope I don't have to come to that. But at least I've hoarded enough seeds to get me through my lifetime and probably a couple other people's lifetimes too.
That's the hope. And I'm going to give a quick shout out to our boy, Mark W. Coming in, getting that Nothing But Good Vibes shirt up in
Nice.
here. I see that order. Mark W. Thank you, my friend. I really appreciate that. So we've crossed an hour. We still have a few questions left, but some of them are get a little bit wordy at the end. So we'll just finish up with the get in the pool, and then we'll get the hell out of here, Chunky.
All right, Get in the Pool is asking tricks and tips for making small homegrown batches of concentrates without breaking the bank.
Not just breaking the bank. You don't want to break your house. First of all, we're talking rosin. If we're talking small scale, we're talking rosin. There is no BHO. It is very, very illegal to make your own concentrates, and is also very, very dangerous to make your own butane hash oil. So it just comes down to if we're talking like the modern stuff. You know what I've always wanted is a sift table. You get it's got like multiple screens, you trim on it, you get your dry trim in there, and you trim on it, and it sifts it all to different things. And I would love to get into pressing some dry sift stuff, but that's future sort of projects. I've been all about just the live rosin, and that's super simple. You don't need a freeze dryer. A lot of the hash makers will talk about how they use a freeze dryer, but really you just want to get it nice and cold and nice and dry. And so the more moisture that you can suck out of that thing, it just takes a little bit longer. And so, you get yourself some bubble bags, you use a paddle, and just like gently get all of the trikes separated, find your best trike heads that you want, get them nice and dry. If you have a freeze dryer, great. If you don't, just look into I did an episode with Kyle Terps where he brought us down, and I also did an episode with Hot Rod's Head Stash where he broke it down as well. So you'll have to go back in the back catalog, look for those hash thumbnails. A lot of good information about how to get the freeze drying without the freeze dryer. And then like we got Don G talks about the Nug Smasher. Get yourself just a cheap press, man. That's it. Learn how to fold your bags. Once again, go back and find the Hot Rod's Head Stash episode. He talked about how to fold the bags, make sure you don't get blowouts. And from there, it's pretty simple. You just squish that those good trichome heads, and you're gonna get some liquid gold flowing out of there. Jar it up. Make sure that you get something nice and tight. Get yourself a container that isn't going to get any air in there. Stir it up as needed. Open those sons of bitch. They start to separate, and if you let them separate too much, they kind of don't want to go back together. I got a jar of some Tropicana sour diesel. He gave me an ounce for Christmas for helping him out with some projects, and I only got about 3 or 2/3 of the way through, and the other 2/3 is fractionated to the point where I stir it, and it doesn't really want to go back together. Sean Samili says, if you live in the right sort of town, like I live in Denver, I bet you can check Facebook Marketplace and find yourself a goddamn cheap press. And so get yourself some good bags. Make sure you put the love and care. Don't just use a drill with a mixer on there. Do it the right way. Select genetics to get you those washers, and then press them, and you got yourself some good stuff. But you can't beat the finger hash. You can't beat the dry sift. You can't beat just regular old bubble. So that word hash, it's a loaded thing. And welcome new GramBorg member Variant. He's doing all the freak show stuff. I want to talk to you more about the freak plants, Variant. I want to know more about the mutants of cannabis. So thank you. Welcome to the GramBorg. We did it, Chunky. We crossed an hour 7. This was fast. That happened fast.
Yeah. Just just real quick, if you want to pull it up, I just sent you a message on Instagram. It's me. I've coming up. I won't say it's a new tech per se, but I bought myself a flower sifter, an electronic flower sifter. And then I bought myself an 80 mesh screen, and then I take my dry material frozen. Put some dry ice in that sifter with my material, and it just pours trichome heads out in my bowl.
Oh wow! Yeah, here it's only the audio is loading for me for some reason, but point being, still great tech.
Yeah. So what I'll do is I'll take an electronic sifter. It sifts out my first pass, that I put it on my screens to clean it up, do some static tech, then press it. You can make piatella, you can make hash rosin, you can do whatever you want once it's done. So I'll
Maybe.
throw up some videos after this after we're done the show, and that way people can check out what I'm doing with that.
Well, if you're not one of the cool kids before, once you're talking about you can make piatella, that's cool kid talk. That's
Well,
cool.
I'll have to rephrase that. You can make cold cure, but piatella only comes from Uncle's farm in Spain.
Yes,
so.
much like Champagne is from the
Yep.
region of Champagne.
Yep.
Piatella is it's a place. It's a people. It's
Yep.
but you know, come on. I always love people. A guy told me one time when I was bitching about jargon, and he goes, "Look, man, jargon exists for a reason. Words are just handles we put on concepts to hand them to other people." So a lot of people, I call them the semantic police. People will check you like it's not a strain, it's a cultivar. It's like, great. I hope you feel smart. Like it's still the same. You know what I'm saying, and that's what it is.
Yes,
It's ATM machine. It's ATM. It's a automated teller machine. Yeah, we all get it, man. Don't be the semantic police. You know what I'm saying, bro.
Yes, Cripple
Hell yeah.
Cannabis Cowboy, you are one of the cool kids.
So we got to get the say I didn't even load the goddamn thing. We got to get the people over to Chonky. So go over, follow Chonky Nugs. He is the man. He is holding it down. He's one of the up and coming talents in this world. He's full of lots of great knowledge, posts lots of great stuff over on his Instagram, and follow him while you can. It's we're in the purge, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep.
So make sure you go follow him over there. And you got a Discord, like people hang out with you over there. What else can do people other than on Instagram? How can they find you?
So I do have a Discord that I don't do anything with, just because I am pretty active in the 2B Blunt Discord, and I mod the Extract Sour Discord, so I'm in those Discords. Other than that, I don't have a Facebook page, I don't have a YouTube page quite yet. Not sure if that's ever going to come. I like hanging out with everybody else. I like hanging out with the cool kids. So you can find me on Instagram. If you see a Chunky Nugs 2.0, that's me too. That's the backup account that I started once they zapped me the first time. I didn't want to lose everything completely. And the last shout out real quick is September 5th. Thanks to Mr. Rambo himself, I now host the Seeds for Charity auction. We are going to be hosting my guy, Chad Westport, on September 5th. He is telling me that he has got some stuff that he's never told anybody about. It's his own private stash that he's made for himself that he's never released. He's been working with me, Gene Freeborn's limes strains. So he's got 5 new cultivars coming out. So he's going to have some of that. I'm going to throw some of my own stash in there. We are benefiting Operation 1620, which I think you're familiar with, the BVN. Seed to Harvest podcast was their beneficiary last month, and we're going to do it again this month. So please come check us out on September 5th, Jesus Plants YouTube channel, 9:00 Eastern. We're going to be auctioning off Fire Genetics, talking with Chad and others about cannabis, the community, the lifestyle, anything you can think. We'll have Terry and CJ on, hopefully from BVN. That way they can talk about the charity. So please, if you're around Friday night, September 5th, come check us out.
Hells yeah. I handpicked you, and I couldn't do it. And I want Jesus Plants. He's the man. All the Seedsman's Genetics fam over there. And you were my first pick, and you have not let me down, Chonky. You're killing it over there, my friend. And you're killing it over here. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And just real quick, I saw Curly Greenleaf asked a question about, can you use a credit card in the auctions? The answer is yes, because what we do is we do not take any money in ourselves. We ask the people who win the auctions to go directly to the page. So BVN has a donation page, so you can put your credit card right in there. You can get a tax break on it. It's tax deductible since it's a charity event. So you can use your credit card.
Nice. Hell yeah, bro. That's what's up. You're doing the God's work, and I appreciate you so much. Go follow Chonky. Give him more love than you think he needs, because look at those eyes. Look at those puppy dog eyes. That's a man who's got a big heart, and he's got lots of room for all your guys' love. So go fill it up. Thank you, Chonky. I appreciate you co-hosting.
Thank you all.
Bringing the noise.
Have a good night, all. Thank you for having me, Grambo. I will see you in a few minutes in the after show. I mean,
yeah.
the after party.
The after party. Oh, I got stories, bro.
I
all
can't
right, I'll see you in a minute, Chunky. We did it, you guys. That's it. I got to I got stories. We're gonna be over on the after party here in a little bit, but I got the shout outs. Crippled Cannabis Cowboy, thank you for the $10. We didn't get to Truth Exposed, throwing that $2 on the pile. We got Soil and Green gifting a new membership apparently to Cannalicia. Welcome, Cannalicia. And Variant is in the house. Thank you guys once again. GRAMBO.shop if you want a GRAMBO Grows shirt or a Nothing But Good Vibes shirt up in here. We have all sorts of good stuff coming up. And where is the after party? The after party is if you are part of the Gram board. It's $5 a month. It's about $1.25 per show as we go through there, and lots more content coming. Like I said, I'm paying Mo Grows to help out with all the back end. I got comedian Corey Stevens rocking it on the camera, helping us make some awesome cannabis content. And so not just the post show or the after party, but all sorts of awesome things are finally coming. This is what's up. I finally figured it out. Guys, I appreciate all of you. Me and Chonky Nugs, we were talking before the show. Literally, you can't imagine what y'all mean to us. All the people, Can Alicia, we got TJ Rez, or as I call him, Trish, John Lindsay, Nate C, Truth Exposed, Mini Cannabis, Strangman, we got Trailblazer. I see you, Trailblazer, and Grow Tank Gaming. Every Tuesday, me and Church of Cannabis Nate, we do a gaming stream. Last week we played the Stanley Parable, and Trailblazer can attest. It fucked me up. It fucked me up. Grow Tent Gaming on YouTube. Every Tuesday, we go live. Come hang out with me, John Lindsay, and Trailblazer. They're always in the house. I see you, High Plains Bud. I see you, Robert Rittenhouse. I love all you guys, and thank you, Stoner Dude. My name is Josh Grambo. There's nothing but good vibes up in here. This has been Grambo Grows.
We're dropping knowledge on Grambo Grows, talking about plants and how they go. Let's go from seeds to the Joe. We always smoke pure, nothing but good vibes up in here.